Welcome to Sports Connection. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director. I'm back with my partner in crime, Mr. Tate Mathews. Tate, state wrestling duels are in the book. Maybe a little bittersweet, but it's like shoot for the stars, fall into the clouds. We had two schools end up finishing in fourth. Again, 4 schools represented.
Pretty strong. I don't know anybody else that did that. So, you know, I think we knew what we had to do to try to get those 2 state championships. Knew it was going to be pretty tough, but 2 fourth places in the state duels, I think that's pretty strong. No Coach Derrick, you know, no Coach Miller. They wanted to do better, but still, when you go back and reflect on it, pretty dang impressive. Something you can be proud of.
It was, and you know, the thing I like about it, obviously with Fairview, they've won it, and they've also been the runner-up. So certainly that's their expectation. But I can tell you this right now, Summit was disheartened when they lost to just a tradition-rich program in Bradley Central. They fully expected to be wrestling Cleveland in the state championship. So I like that about their program.
Yeah.
Right now, to me, it's those 2 schools. A lot of people want it, and we've got schools that are doing great, obviously 4 teams in the state tournament. But to me, the expectation and the feel of we expect to win this thing, I think those 2 teams really do.
I do too, yeah. And they're there, you know. Summit's been there quite often. Fairview's there, they've been in they won it, and then they were runner-up, and so they plan on being there every year, yeah. And Summit's going to get there. You know, you gotta keep chopping. They've, you know, get there, and then they keep taking the next step. I know they've had a third, but you know, this was the resurgence, I guess, of Bradley Central. That's just made it so much tougher. You know, it had gotten to where it was Cleveland, and then Wilson Central was 2. Well, now Bradley's back. That AA, I guess that's what we call it. The AA is the largest. That division's no joke now. That's a tough tournament. You saw it.
It really is. And, you know, as you take a look at our teams, too, this was interesting. With Page, they lose in the first round to the eventual state champion, Signal Mountain. It came down to the last match. They were down 36-30. We've got a match coming up. Jackson Quails, not Qualls, gets a 9-8 decision over Reese Olson of Page. But when it's 9-8, that also could be a pin.
Right.
If Reese gets a pin there, now we're tied. Now, here's something that you may or may not know. If it ends up tied, then it goes to number of pins, and then there's some other things there. It usually doesn't get that far. In fact, when I started asking some of our local wrestling experts, they were going, after pins, I'm not sure, you know. So it's one of those things that doesn't happen much. Also, Nolensville goes down to the next to last match.
Yep.
They still had a shot against obviously a very good Cleveland team that won it all. Summit, when they lose to Bradley Central, it goes down to the last match. They're down 37-34. You got Noah Feltz on the mat, and you're like, okay, we've got a shot to tie this thing or do better. But he ran into a buzzsaw, ends up getting beat. And then Fairview, they actually clinched their first round match before the final match.
Yep.
So it was interesting. So in the first round, we get 1 team with a win. Get 1 team. Fairview moves on to the semis. They end up getting beat by Greenville. And listen, those teams have matched up a lot the last several years, kind of going back and forth. Greenville gets that win. Fairview comes back, gets all the way to the 3rd place match. They lose 1 to Pigeon Forge. We're going to talk about that one a little bit more in just a second. And then Summit drops their 3rd place match to Wilson Central. Let's go back to Page. I think of all the teams, maybe Page, even though, I mean, they lose the eventual champion.
Right.
And then they face a tough Gibbs team that they lose to. Of our 4 teams, they probably were the most disappointed, not just because they didn't win a match. I think that expectation was Page and Fairview in the final, and maybe Page more than Fairview.
Yeah, I mean, but, you know, that's why it's you can do it, but it's you know, to get that good start, you know. So Signal Mountain's another one. You know, it's not like you got beat by the county dump or something like that. You know what I'm saying? The Dollywood dump. That's a really good tradition program. So, yeah, I think they were very disappointed. That's great. That's how far that program's come. There was all these guys, you know, when you talk about, well, not Summit, but you talk about Page and you talk about Fairview, you know, it was just not too long ago where neither one of them could fill a full roster, you know, a full starting lineup. And so to talk about you're coming in state meet, state duels, and you're losing to Signal Mountain, the eventual champion, and you're disappointed, that's how far that's come. So, yeah, I think they, you know, I think they are, but I just think that's how close all of them were, you know, those top four. And I know what you got to work on. You still got the state individuals to go for, and then, you know what it looks like to get there. You know what it's going to take to win, and you can start working towards that.
Sticking with Class A, and listen, he would never make an excuse.
Never.
Never. Fairview wrestled without 3 medalists from last year. Ari Donaldson, Sam Frank, Jeffrey Anderson, and then junior Keegan Seaver had just gotten back. He finished 5th at the state last year. You throw in 3 medalists on your team, I'm just telling you, they would have won the thing. But that's part of it, right? It's kind of like football. Nobody is feeling sorry for you. It's next man up. And certainly no one's going to feel sorry for Coach Derrick because they get such a dominant program. But I'm here to tell you, if those guys wrestled, and again, Coach Derrick won't say it, I will, because I am on the Fairview wrestling train, as everybody knows, they win the thing.
I think you're right. They'll be back. Hey, it happens, man.
They'll definitely be back.
Athletics.
Blake Mitchell, Ken Curtis, Jacob Clevenger, all stars for them that day. I do want to talk about this, and it's this week's gem, Tate. Fairview lost in the 2020 championship to Pigeon Forge. Last year, they defeated Pigeon Forge in the championship. And that also leads us into what is fast becoming one of our favorite segments here at Sports Connection, the Clown Show of the Week.
Hey, kids, it's that time of the week again, the Clown Show of the Week. Brought to you by Pigeon Forge and always sponsored by Ripley's Believe It or Not, right on the main drag in Gatlinburg. We decided after we defeated Fairview last week that we were going to take the no handshake with the teams rule another step forward, and we're just not going to shake hands. Forget about sportsmanship. Let's make it about me and my ego.
That's it.
And therefore, we got to do something about his nose. I got to take home a little hardware and the thing I'm most proud of, the Clown Show of the Week.
That's it. Listen, I think there are times, right? There are times when maybe it's contentious and, you know, it just makes sense not to shake hands. But listen, these two teams, they've matched up 3 straight years in a match that mattered. Pigeon Forge winning 2 years ago, Fairview last year, and then this one determined 3rd place. But for whatever reason, Coach said, hey, look, we're not shaking hands after the match. We're just going home.
It's not good. That's kind of like I'm going to take my ball and I remember one, he'll probably get mad at this. You know, I was about 15 years old and I finally beat my dad in one-on-one out in the driveway. And he got mad and I called a foul. He said, no blood, no foul. So then he called a foul on me. I said, no blood, no foul. And we got into it and he got mad and he took the ball and he went inside and put it in his closet and wouldn't let us play anymore. Kind of the same deal, man. I mean, you know, hey, it was a hard-fought match like it was the year before and it was the year before that. Let the kids shake hands, man. Don't make it about you. It's about the kids,
listen,
man. It's about the kids.
It's interesting. I had an assistant coach.
It's about this nose falling off.
I had a coach a few years ago, assistant coach, great assistant. Won't mention the name, but he said, you know, I think we ought to start adopting the pro philosophy, which is when it's over, let's just go to the locker rooms. Let's shake hands before, but people are always so upset afterwards. Let's go. And I sort of get it, but we're in high school sports. Yeah. If I can't teach my team, listen, let's be cordial. We lost. Let's handle it with grace. We won. Let's handle it with grace. I'll never be for not shaking hands. And listen, I've had situations where we didn't shake hands.
Right.
I've had it, and it was the right thing to do. But 99.9% of the time you shake hands, and maybe this was that 0.01 or 0.1%, whatever.
From what I heard, it wasn't. But think about what everything you just said. Life lessons. Those are life lessons. You don't always win, man. But you gotta suck it up. Look that guy in the eye or gal in the eye. Shake their hand. Doesn't mean you got to sit out there like the Pro Bowl the other day and yuck it up and take selfies together. But let's shake hands and be good sports. Sportsmanship, man. Let's not lose that in high school athletics, because Lord knows it's struggling in the upper divisions. But boy, I'd hate to see us lose it there. And I get it, man. It's tough to do, but you do it.
You got to do it.
You got to do it. But hey, you get a free admission to Ripley's, believe it or not. But it's got to be on a Tuesday.
Moving on here. Double A again, we talked about Nolensville. They lose in the first round to Cleveland. They had cut that lead to 36-30. Big wins by Dakota Patty, Chase Myers, Trey McTorrey. In the consolation, they did defeat Maryville, lost to Wilson Central 36-30. We mentioned Summit, lost to Bradley Central in the first round. Jarvis Little gave the Spartans a lead at 22-18. And really, this is the match I think it turned on. Not because he had a bad match, just because he always wins. Landon DeSelli at 138 lost in overtime. That's his first loss of the season.
That's crazy, isn't it?
So obviously that had an impact, but they had a great opponent, so nothing to be ashamed of for Landon. Consolation, they defeat Clarksville 39-25, Dobbins-Bennett 34-30 before losing to Wilson Central. Here's what's great about this. You look at Maryville, that's a good program. Nolensville takes care of them.
Yep.
You look at Clarksville, back in the day, it's Clarksville.
Yes.
Summit dominates Clarksville. We're right there knocking on the door. And I'll tell you this, Coach Miller, he's expecting a state title in that individual tournament.
He is. I think of everybody, though, I think Nolensville can be, if I'm them, I'm happiest with our performance. We move up. Yep. Hey, man, we take Cleveland to the fourth quarter or to the end of the fourth quarter. If we're trying to compare sports, like you said, defeated Maryville, lost to Wilson Central. No shame in that game, in my opinion, man. Getting there to begin with, and then I think they competed their tail off. They'll be back, and then you're right. Summit is, but they were so close. They could have been state champions. So we're going to get one. I think year by year we keep becoming the wrestling hotbed, just like everything else. You were talking about Clarksville. You remember who got Clarksville wrestling? Jeff Jordan, who from the flagship Franklin fame, he's the one who went up there and got that thing going. So, yeah, man, I'm really, again, I know everybody wanted to go and win, but I think as a district we were very well represented, and can't wait to see what they do in the individual tournament.
The individual, regional, and sectional tournaments will take place, and then eventually the state tournament once again at the Williamson County Ag Center, February 24th through 26th. Don't sleep on Page, by the way, in that individual tournament, or really any of these teams. I also wanted to mention and give a shout out Tia Atkinson, McKinley Johnston from our OTL program there, working with work-based learning and the CTE program there, and Dr. Qualls as well. They were there the whole day, taking pictures, making graphics after the wins, videos. They've done a phenomenal job this year.
Phenomenal job. They're everywhere. I think at the Indy Summit game, they called it an OTL takeover.
That's right.
It is. It's a takeover. They're everywhere.
It's really neat. It really is. All right, let's talk a little hoops. One of my favorite rivalries in WCS for a lot of different reasons. Brentwood and Franklin. Brentwood and Franklin match up, game 2 of the year. Brentwood, Franklin girls was like a nail biter. I think Franklin was up 5 points going the fourth quarter at Franklin. Well, in this one, 55-23, statement game from Brentwood. They hit 10 threes. Sydney Ryan with 22 points. They go on a 26-7 run in the third quarter to blow this game open. Franklin led in scoring by Lila Gardner. But Brentwood, I'm telling you, they're playing well.
Yeah, they are, and it sounds like you just said it. It's the three ball that changes the game, 10 threes. The 26-7 run in the third quarter, I'd like to know how many of those threes were in that, but that's what Brentwood can do that Franklin can't. They're not going to shoot the threes like that. If they're hitting the threes like that, we've seen it with other teams. It's just, what do you do with that? You say it all the time. Threes beat twos. Then you get behind. You're playing from behind. Franklin's not they're not a double-digit from behind type team. Sydney Ryan, when she's shooting like that, tough matchup.
Brentwood scored 30 points on threes. Franklin scored 23 points. I mean, that's tough.
Hard to win.
That's tough. In the boys' game, a battle, a classic. It goes down to the wire. Tom Fortner, who just makes all kinds of plays for Franklin, he shows up in the paper with points because that's what everybody talks about. He does a lot of things that really don't get noticed or show up. He deflects an inbound pass, and then Jack Medalley, the Brentwood transfer, blocks a shot by Jake Brock as time expired. Franklin wins 38-37. Big plays also down the stretch, and this is good for WCS and both teams. Sam Medalley, brother of Jack Medalley, and Daniel Cochran, those sophomores, were making big plays down the stretch. That game was back and forth. If I'm Franklin, I'm a little bit nervous thinking I might have to match up with Brentwood again. And here's the thing with Brentwood. People don't realize this. The number of freshmen and sophomores that Coach Bond, they're playing significant minutes. Look out. They win some of these close games, gives them some confidence. You never know. But that's the thing about being young. You don't win these games usually.
Right.
It's like the next year. But he's hoping this year.
Well, tournament time, yeah. I think I've said it all year, man. They would scare me come tournament time. They're not sophomores anymore. They're not freshmen anymore this time of year. And, two things come out of this. Brentwood is so close. They're so close. They're going to have an offensive – and what's going to happen is what you said at the beginning is he's going to bring that defense in, and it's going to be trouble for people, or they're going to have a night when the buckets are all falling for them. It's going to be a tough out. I would be really scared of Brentwood in the tournament. The other thing we've talked about with Franklin, I love how Franklin wins. They can win these 38 to 37 games, and they can win a 70 to 65 game. So that's fun to watch. And then our good friend, you were talking about Fortner's and Medalley's play. Our good friend Michelle Polk. Did you see where she captured the shot and the block? She never disappoints, but that was really cool. I mean,
it was. For
the Franklin people. I know the Brentwood people didn't care as much about it, but I thought that was awesome. That she was able to capture that and put that out on Twitter. So I can see both these guys winning it, and I can see both these guys early outs. Yeah,
that's the nature of it, I think. Now, Franklin, sort of quietly, 21 wins, and they've locked up that district.
And replaced everybody.
Literally everyone. Literally everyone.
That's when you know you're a program, right?
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Daniel
There was a pretty
Cochran,
good foundation laid.
Daniel Cochran, your boy, sophomore, 21 points in that game, and they only scored 37.
Don't sleep on DC.
Man, he can play.
Going to be a lot of points scored. I'd like to know how close he is to the 1,000 point. That's the other thing. Some of these super sophomores, man, they got a chance to get 1,000 in their sophomore year. That's crazy.
It's nuts. Centennial, Nolensville. On the girls' side, Centennial won the first matchup this year. They played in the Hickman County Above the Rim tournament. Centennial won that one. Then Nolensville wins the last two. The previous one was a couple points, but they win this one going away. Lelena Washington, a freshman for Nolensville, scores 12 points. She has 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Sydney Dickinson and Emily Hunter, sophomores, both had 8 points. Coach Ladd, I love it. This is not a team that is as good as the past couple he's had.
Right.
But he's got a great attitude about it. He knows they're young. He knows they're getting better. He's always saying in his tweets, 1% better, 1% better. That's a thing that maybe from that book, Atomic Habits. If you've read this book, I mentioned
strong.
That's a book I read recently,
yeah.
And it mentions that 1% better. So he mentions that this is a team that's not only getting better this year. Nolo will be big time competing in the league next year with those 3 young players.
Yeah, that's a very nice win for them, and you're right. 1%. You stack 1% on 1% on 1% adds up pretty quick.
Compound
real
interest.
Quick. I don't
Compound interest.
Compound interest. I don't want to get off script.
Uh-oh. Please do.
But what does when you envision the word above the rim, like what comes to your mind? Like above the rim, right?
Yeah, playing above the rim.
Like yeah.
I'm literally above the rim.
How did Hickman County get the above the rim? They ain't playing above the rim over there.
The below the rim classic.
There you go. I think it started when B. Wirt was there. Nobody's above the rim.
And then they have the pre-tournament meal over there at the Skyview Country Club.
Hey, man. There's pretty good peanut butter and crackers over at the Skyview. You know what they need to do is that RV right over there that was rocking a little bit. It was windy that day. They need to serve like fried bologna out of it or something. That'd be a good fundraiser.
We'll talk to Dr. Qualls about that. Hey, on the boys' side, this one surprised me. Nolensville had a lead late in this game. Centennial ends up winning 44-39. They get the season sweep over Nolensville. Keep it in mind, now they're not in the same district. They just decided to play twice, which is good. I'm glad that they did.
Makes sense.
Centennial, once again, Tanner Lee, super sophomore, 18 points. Dominic Reed, another sophomore, 9. Malachi Moore, 9. Listen, and I think they're going to get it right, but the last couple of weeks, Centennial, it's like they're not playing quite as well. I think it's that youth. It's that getting tired. It's just different when you're counted on as a sophomore to play varsity. Again, no excuses for them. I'm sure they'll get it cranked up at the tournament, but they haven't been playing quite as well of late.
Correct. But they grinded that one out, and they needed it, so maybe it's back on the uptick.
Fairview, Cheatham County. On the girls' side, Fairview loses 29-49. That drops them to 1-5 in district play. It looks like they're going to be heading for a matchup with Harpeth in the first round of the district tournament in an elimination game. Riley Dillingham, 9 points, 4 rebounds. Anastasia Byerly, 8 points, 5 boards, 3 block shots. On the boys' side, Fairview boys only had a 1-point win the last time they played. 64-32. They doubled it up. The boat captain was in the house, or was he? Does that qualify? 32-point win. And listen, I think they were smarting from a couple of losses the week before.
Coach McCoy was on his way to his boat at Cuba Landing, just a hop, skip, and a jump down from Fairview. He got on the, it wasn't a 40-foot Donzi. It's a little cold for that. Got on the Tritoon, took the family out, had that thing all the way down. Boat Race City. Thanks for playing, Cheatham County Cubs. This ain't your Al Cooper's Cubs. The Yellow Jackets came to take care of business, and they did.
They did.
And they were somebody that you were kind of talking about. You know, they were sky high, kind of dipped a little bit. They're on the way back up. They're getting ready for the tournament time. Coach knows what he's doing.
Oh, there's no question they're going to be rolling in the tournament. Jacob Neal, 16 points, 5 boards. Kennedy Pendergrass, Mr. Everything at Fairview High School, 10 points. Jackson Arnold, 9. That all but clinches the district title. They've got White House, Heritage, and Sycamore left. They're going to win the district title, regular season, and tournament. You can book it, Tate Mathews.
Book it. Book it. Yellow Jackets are going to Murfreesboro.
They're definitely got a shot. They definitely have a shot. They definitely have a shot. Coach McCoy, no pressure.
No.
We're expecting it.
They're going. They're tough. Weight room guys. They're going. They can shoot. They're athletic.
Indy at Ravenwood. Girls' side, Indy'd really been playing better, but Ravenwood just comes out and dominates that game 63-30. They clinched the district championship, 7-0 in the league for Coach James and his team. Congratulations. Reagan Grimes, 20 points. Elizabeth Flynn, 11. Emma Rail, 10. In the boys' game, now this game started off, it was so fast-paced, I had to sit down and get a drink of water, and I was about to hyperventilate. It was 23-18 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, that's bringing it. Now, it settled down. Independence ends up winning 63-53, and it was really closer than that. It was like 3 or 4 points there with, I think, 3 minutes left. The thing that surprised me about this game with these teams, only 9 threes hit in the game. 5 for Indy, 4 for Ravenwood. Both teams are showing they can play well without making 3-pointers.
Do you attribute that to how fast-paced it was at the beginning? Because both of them, I've seen them when they're like that. You're right, man. It's almost, like it's fake. I mean, it's on fast forward, man. And so you think that's Maybe they were a little winded. I mean, I don't care how good a shape you're in when you're playing that fast.
I think the biggest thing is they both were making layups in transition. Lee Millette, who's usually not one of the top scorers for Ravenwood, he had 16 points, DJ Starr 16, and particularly in Lee's case, he was scoring at the basket. Listen, that's a young man. When you start talking multi-sport athletes and getting in the weight room and doing those things, you can just write it down. When a guy comes from football, especially a football team that's gone deep, this is the time of year it pays off having them.
Always.
Because he hadn't been working on his skills like these other guys.
That's
That
right.
dude is playing well.
Yeah, well, I mean, more than likely, unless he's really, really, really disciplined and loves basketball, football's just something to pass the time, he's probably not picking a ball up from, second week of July until what they go through, November.
That's right.
So, of course, you're right. We've seen it, man. We talked about it all the time. I know they'd probably get tired of it. I can remember those old Hillsboro days, man. And when by the end of the year, you knew it was going to be a dogfight.
Adelet and Troy Allen.
Troy Allen. They were there's been a lot to do it, you and Crab. But I don't feel like you had as many football players. You know what I'm saying?
I had some, but
you
not,
had
not,
some,
not
but
as many as him.
Right. You weren't. Your Reese Chamberlain you weren't waiting for him to get there.
No. I just made sure he was there every day.
Exactly. I feel like and it's been done well by a lot of people, but I think that's the best I ever saw it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's
Because most of Troy's players were football. Troy really didn't have a chance but to make it work. I mean, a choice but to make it work.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, the physicality, and I'm telling you, the more games I go to this year, soapbox time. Is there a soapbox segment?
Listen, we've had all kinds of costumes. We got clowns, captains. We can get a soap man, I guess.
In AAA, 4A basketball now, okay, and D2 AAA. In my humble opinion, most people would think of you as a shooter, but you are a big weight room guy. If you don't buy into the weight room, you are not winning in 4A basketball. Period.
I don't think you're being all you can be in any sport.
Yeah.
You've got to get in the weight room. Listen, when I first got to Franklin, at Beach, it wasn't as many people doing it. But when I got to Franklin, some of the sports that were lifting and serious about it, I was like, okay, they get it. Coach Whipple, he's a big fan of the weight room. Doesn't matter what he's coaching, he's interested in it. And you better get interested in it or get left behind.
That's exactly right. And you can tell. You can walk into a gym, and you can tell the ones that are in it. I mean, it's
and the ones that aren't.
And the ones that aren't. And the thing I don't understand, you know who I land on. That was before weights. But, if you polled 100 basketball coaches and asked them who the greatest player of all time, 99 of them are going to say MJ, right?
That's right.
What did he do every day?
Lift weights.
What did Kobe do every day?
Lift weights.
What does LeBron do every day?
That's right. Got to do
Look
it.
at Giannis. I don't. Why is this so hard?
It's not hard. It'll mess your shot up. Give me
Good.
Give me a break.
It'll make me a better rebounder, defender.
It doesn't mess your shot up.
No, didn't mess theirs up.
No. Paige, same story, different chapter. This is our weekly same story, different chapter segment. The girls go to 23-1. They've sewn up the district. 58-28 over Lincoln County, ranked number 1 in the state. Braley Bushman, 19 points. Lily Wilkin, 15 points, 11 rebounds, a double-double. And on the boys' side, Jared Street and Paige doing a great job, 7-1 now after a 71-64 win over Lincoln County. They're in first place in the league. They've got Tullahoma and Marshall County left. They'll be favored in both games. Ethan Overstreet, 27 points. Pierce Brule, 16. So congratulations to the Page boys as well.
Oh, yeah. I think he's done a great job.
He has.
He's probably going to get it, especially in that league, but he should be Coach of the Year. And then, how do you think all those ladies feel over there in that region, district, whatever we're going to call it? We already knew about Lily. We already knew about Cochran. Oh, by the way, Braley Bushman, next man up or next lady up, filling it up. Coach Broad, he's done a great job there, man. They're legit, and they're fun to watch.
Fun to watch. Summit at Columbia Central. Summit girls lose 32-42 at Columbia Central. The boys lose 57-75. On the girls' side, they split during the season. Here's the thing, though. It really doesn't matter. They're battling for second in the league. Now, it does matter come tournament time because it could be, well, no, it doesn't. 2 and 3 will play at Summit. So no matter what happens, only the 4 or 5 game will be played off-site. The district and region are played at Summit. So if they finish 3rd or 2nd, doesn't matter. Summit's going to play Columbia Central, and they're going to play them at Summit.
Yeah, and not sure what it is, what's missing, because you've said it all year. The pieces are there. It can be fixed, right? But how quickly does this happen? You know, I don't know. They're not playing. I think they would say this. It's not critical. It just is what it is. They're not playing as well as they can. It's
the shooting.
You've been in situations like that before. All right, we're here. The tournament's right around the corner. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's
like, is there a point where if we don't get this fixed, as a coach?
Yeah, I think there is, because some of it's confidence now. Sidney Wright gets 15, but when Summit, and they've got some people that can do it, Bergen Ali being one of them, when they have the 3-point shot going in, they are really, really tough to beat. If you look at their losses, especially the disappointing losses, not that Columbia's not a good team, because they are, they don't shoot the ball well. Yeah. And shooting, it just matters. They call it basketball for a reason. Put the ball in the basket.
I like it.
On the boys' side, Columbia jumped out 16-3 early. Summit did cut the lead to 4 in the second quarter. It was senior night. Columbia Central had the young man that was hurt early in the season. He was back that night for senior night. It was kind of cool that he was there. He's not able to play, but had a pretty bad injury there. So it was an emotional night, I'm sure, for Columbia Central. C.J. Jones, 18 points. Bradley Stewart, 11. Summit's heading for a first-round district matchup at home with Nolensville. And again, making the region tournament for that young team for Coach Fay will be important.
Hey, did you I think it's Martin. I know it's Q. Is it Q Martin from Columbia? Have you had a chance to see him play yet?
Yes.
He's pretty nice.
He's good. Good player. Really, really good player. Maybe the MVP of that district. We'll see. Hey, I did want to give a shout-out to our middle school teams. In AA, the Fairview boys are playing in the sectional championship game. If they win, they move on to the state tournament, which is a 4-team state tournament. In AAA, this is kind of cool. First year in it, probably kick us out after this year. Brentwood boys play Sunset in the sectional championship game.
I love it.
The winner goes on to the Final Four. And then Sunset had taken care of business in the regular season, but Brentwood beats them in the WMAA championship. So we'll see tonight what happens. Or not tonight, but later on this week.
Middle school basketball can be exciting now.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, I love it.
Our middle school crowds for the WMAA tournament are bigger than a lot of high school crowds.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
They really are. There's a lot of places, maybe even Pigeon Forge, since they'd probably be happy with that crowd. Hey, listen.
You want me to save this for another one? I got another soapbox. It has to do with concession stands. I'll save it for next week. Remember to ask me. But hey, real quick, I know we got to go. Sunset, they've done a great job with their basketball program there. Great job. Great job. Very cool for them. And Brentwood, it's kind of like
it's Brentwood,
they're going to be in it.
It's Brentwood.
Yep.
All right, Tate, this week's games, and I'm liking that we're doing this winter picking.
I love it.
I'm ahead 18-5. 18-5. You're 17-6. The only difference last week, I picked Coach Ladd and the Nolensville girls. You picked Coach Hamilton and Centennial. So I'm now up 1. All right, this week's games, I've got it set up beforehand. You're going to start. The Battle of the Wood, since it's your pick, and that's what you prefer.
Thank you.
Brentwood at Ravenwood, girls game. I think that's a tough one to pick. Who you got, Tate?
It's a tough one to pick, and you better defend the 3-ball or Brentwood's going to light you up. The Ryan girls out there, I heard somebody call them twins. They're not the twins, but it kind of sounds good. The Ryan sisters, but they got other ones too. You better defend the 3-ball. They can do it. Miss Grimes, don't call me Miss Janet. It's Miss Grimes is playing at a high level. She's got her teammate Flynn going with her. I just think they're really, really good now. Plus the way she brings a toughness, a physical nature to the game. She's going to dominate the boards. I'm going with the Lady Raptors.
I thought for sure you were picking Brentwood. Listen, I want to pick Brentwood, but I said, with Coach James, I said I hadn't been picking you. I got to pick Ravenwood.
Hey, until he proved, until you know.
It's a toss-up, though. It's a definite toss-up in that game.
Where is it? Oh, it's at Ravenwood?
Yep. At Ravenwood. And if Brentwood wins, no, that's right. They're not in the same district.
Yeah, I know.
Explain that.
Hey,
What
I think we got next week's segment.
Centennial at Hillsboro, my pick. We're going to pick the boys on this one.
Okay.
I hate to do it. If this were the district tournament, I would pick opposite of what I'm going to pick, but I'm going to pick Hillsboro because it's on the road.
Oh, Coach Thweet.
Coach Thweet. And I hate to do it.
Hey, they're really good. I was going to pick them, but then I got to thinking this could be another 38-37 game. I'm going to go both teams in the 40s. It's going to be a slugfest. This is the time of the year my man J-Mo, Coach Moore, gets these guys. This is where the defense and the rebounding pays off. So I'm glad you picked them. I'm going with the Cougars.
Okay, there's one different. Here's one that could be different. It's your pick, and it's also the WCTV game of the week. I'm excited about this game.
Yeah.
Fairview at Page, Battle of 840, non-district style.
Yes.
On board. We're going to pick boys. Fairview at Page. So you've got Fairview, highly ranked in AA. You've got Page winning their district in AAA. Who wins this one?
Get there for the girls' game, or you're probably not going to get a seat. You definitely won't get a good seat. These teams don't like each other in football, and guess what? They don't like each other in basketball. I don't think they like each other really in anything. It's athletically, they like each other outside of. I'm with Coach McCoy. Like I said, Coach Street's Coach of the Year. I'm going with Coach McCoy and the Yellow Jackets.
I'm going to agree. People forget this, and I know Matthew Witt didn't play. Fairview beat Indy.
That's right.
Indy's got a pretty good team. Hey, and I want to say this too because I get accused of being a Franklin homer, right? But I've been saying the three best teams in the region on the boys' side, without question, are Columbia, Indy, Ravenwood. I'm now going with 1A and B and 2A and B. So 1A and B right now, Columbia and Indy.
Yep.
2A and B right now, Ravenwood, Franklin.
I think that's right. I don't think anybody could argue with that.
Had to give a shout out. Okay, speaking.
Are you getting these accusations via text message, email, phone call,
Let's just say
Telegram?
Let's just say I can feel it from
Dirty look
from the flagship. Okay, here we go. Boys' side. I'm going to pick this one. Franklin versus Indy. It's at Franklin. The last game was a My TV 30 game. It came down to the end. It's at Franklin. I'm going Admirals.
Ooh.
Doesn't mean anything for the standings.
I did not think you were doing that.
But I'm going Admirals on this one. Again, I can't have that spiel I just had and then not. Although I'm saying I still think Indy, neutral site, would win the game. This one's at Franklin. They'll be fired up. I'm going Admirals.
I didn't think that's where you're going. I'm glad there's going to be some serious separation this week because I'm going with Independence. It's not like he's not been scoring a lot of points. I think Jet is due one of those games. I've seen it personally where he's just out of his mind and everything he's throwing. It's Glover-esque, younger Glover, where everything. I think he's going to have a big night. I'm talking like upper 20s, maybe in the 30. Witt's healthy. I'm going with the Eagles. Okay. Remember who's got your back, Coach Wilkins.
And keep this in mind, Coach, because I know he's watching. If I'd have picked you guys, he'd have picked Franklin. So I know how this works. Okay, next game, Tate, it's you. Nolensville at Summit, girls.
Well, I learned this last week picking against Coach Ladd and the Lady Knights against Centennial, but you know my road dog on the Meet and Three trail, my Soda Pop Junction wingman. I can't pick against him. I'm going with Summit and the Wolfman.
Listen, I'm going Summit as well, and listen, Summit and Coach Wild out there, I pick you guys all the time. It's time to step up and get this dub to make sure that happens. All right, last pick. We're going to do something a little tricky here. Or, go outside of WCS. It's Bengals versus Rams, Super Bowl. I get to pick first. I mean, it's a home game, really, but not really because it's not their crowd there. Trust me, it's like the corporate
Did
folks.
you see what the NFL did?
Isn't that fake, though, that it was going to be at...
This is the second year in a row it's a Super Bowl team is at their home field. And to make sure this never happens again, they're just going to have it every year at Jerry Jones AT&T Stadium.
Meaning they're never in the... Okay. It's not like the Cowboys.
We might get some. There's a lot of Cowboy fans out there. It's a joke.
Because it's home, and I hate to pick against Burrow because he's been doing his thing, but it's a home game. I'm going with Van Jefferson and Coach Hester and the Rams.
Well, I know you remember because it's part of the reason why you're up on me. I went the San Francisco 49ers picked against Van Jefferson and the Rams, and I've learned my lesson. I'm going with the Rams. They get the Super Bowl on the home field. Congratulations to Coach Van. To Van Jefferson. What a great golly, man. You know, it's already cool enough to have one of our former guys in the Super Bowl, but what a great young man he is.
Love it. Love it.
Easy to cheer for.
Love it. Tate, appreciate you being here. It's an exciting time of the year, and you always say it before you know it. We'll be outside with spring sports.
Can't wait. Needed to warm up a little bit, but think we got any track contenders?
I'm picking Brentwood.
There you go. Going out on a limb again.
Tate, as always, a pleasure.
Yep, glad to be here.
Thank you for joining us for Sports Connection. We'll see you next time.